I'm going to add some more yellow. So I'm just adding yellow in the same places that we had it earlier. Under the hairline, under the eyes. This is the yellow ochre. No, it's not, it's the quin yellow, sorry. Quin yellow ochre. No, I'm going to get it right in a minute. It's quin gold. It's the Daniel Smith quin gold. And now I'm beginning to get it to the colour that I want. And while it's there, didn't get myself any water. I'm going to pick up a bit of the pink that I had left and just put it wet into the cheeks there. But I'm going to use my paper towel and so I'm going to use a bit more pink. Definitely needs more pink here. This is where I run a risk. I quite like using the wet, but this is where it starts potentially to get muddy, which is what we were talking about in the class, so I don't want to do it too much. And I'm just gonna, I've literally just got water, clean water on this brush, or cleanish water. There. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I think if I add any more colour, I'm going to end up with mud. So I'm not going to. I'm going to look at her hair. And what I usually do with the hair is take the blue shadow colour that I've got. I don't like wasting paint. So I'll take the blue and just add red to it. I'll just mix it up until I get something that is quite grey, browny grey colour. I'm actually putting a little bit of Payne's grey in there. I don't know if I like that colour or not. Not too bad. I might use that for the just coming in here. Oh, I really need to dry that off first, actually. I'm being a bit lazy. if you could see there, but I was manipulating the paint a little bit as it was drying. So I'm putting a bit of the silver in actually with this now, just to see what happens. I might put a little bit of a darker blue in, which will hopefully make it quite grey. There we are, yeah. So that was a bit of indigo blue, which I think has made it quite a greyer colour. It might not work, but I'm not too worried. So I did put some silver in. It does look a bit shiny, I quite like it. I'm going to use that on her eyebrows as well, because I quite like it. I might, that's a bit too much, so I'll just lift it off. She's got glittery eyebrows now, which I quite like. I'm definitely going to add some water and give that a bit of I might add a bit more glitter, a bit more silver, and splash it, because I do like to splash around her. But we won't have it on her face. Okay. I feel like this is getting somewhere now. Starting to get to where I want. I still don't feel like her cheeks are pink enough though. So I'm going to do a bit more Marguerite Assmann pinking up. So this is very much learnt from Marguerite, where you just put the colour on and take it off like that to get more of the colour you want. So I don't want to get really, really dark colour, but I do want some colour. I feel like it's probably a bit too pink now and not enough cadmium. So yeah, I think that's better. Right. I'm not going to do much more now, I think. I am reaching the mud point. So, but I still want my pink nose. And I've not done the shadow under that nose, I've just noticed. Oh, totally missed the shadow under her nose. How could I miss that? But I did. There is a shadow right there that I didn't draw in. It's not the end of the world, because I can use my colour pencils, but it's a bit annoying to have missed it completely. Okay. I'm not going to do any more, because I think I'm going to wreck it if I add any more colour. I'm just going to leave it as is. Looking and saying, no, I need a bit more there and I need a bit more there. This is the point at which you have to decide that you're either going to stop. I definitely need some more red there, and I'm not happy with it not being there. So, okay, now I'm going to stop. Stop. Put the hairdryer away. Stop, stop, stop. Okay. I'm going to throw my paint away, and then I know I've stopped. Okay. The next thing is, when you're sure it's dry, to use the mask away. The thing with mask away is always to be really gentle. I need to put that light on. Because if you're not gentle, so I did explain what this was, but if you missed what I was saying in class, this is mask away. This is just, I cut it into little pieces to make it last longer. So it's easier than your fingers at removing mask. So I'm just gently removing the mask that I put on when I started. It doesn't remove that easily from this particular paper. I do sometimes get a bit left. I think it's very, very hot as well at the moment, which I don't think helps. In the winter it comes off really easily, but when it's very hot it doesn't come off so easily. And this paper, I really don't want to be ripping the paper up, so better to go gently. It won't come off at all with fingers, so. And there we are, I got it. You just have to, oh, I'm taking off some of the paper there though too. You have to be really gentle. I think that's more that isn't working. So, when it stops taking anything off, you just cut off the corner to reveal some more of the mask away and just keep going. Because it's just not working anymore. And this will hopefully get the rest. It's not cooperating today. Okay, I'm going to leave that as it is. Right. So, I picked out some colour pencils before I started. These are some colours that I thought I would probably be using. I might need some others. So, we'll see. So, obvious ones. I'll always start with this. Indigo. So this is indigo, which I'll always use on my apologies for the dog.
That's cool enough, I'll put it in the freezer.
Sometimes when you're doing something, when I just did her eyes a minute ago, when I started I thought, oh no, that looks awful, it's going to be terrible. But once you've started doing something, you kind of have to carry on because you've started doing it. And if you just carry on, usually you find that it works out and it's okay, and that looks okay now. You just have to kind of have faith in yourself and just keep doing it and hope that it will be all right. And in the end, if it's not, it's just a drawing or a painting. It's, you know, it's not, this isn't a commission, it's just a drawing in a book. It's not something that someone's paying me hundreds of pounds to do. Even if it was, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd just have to start again. So I think often we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do things perfectly. And sometimes you just have to put it in perspective. It's just a drawing. And if you want it always to be perfect, you're never going to enjoy it. Because it stops being fun because you want it always to be perfect. And for me, a lot of what I'm doing is experimenting. So for me, the fun is in trying things out and seeing how they look. Like now, it's really hot here, so the mask has made little blue marks on my page. So I have to find a way of disguising those blue marks. And that's the fun of doing this, that now part of what I'm going to be doing is finding a way to hide those blue marks. So that will be the fun of my process for this sort of 20 minutes, half an hour that I'm doing this. How am I going to hide those blue marks? Can I do it? And if I find a way of doing it, then I've learnt something that I can use the next time I'm doing this. And I can say, oh, don't worry if it leaves blue marks on your page. We can sort that out. That's not a problem. As you can see, for me, I love hatching. Vertical hatching. If I start hatching in other directions, it starts looking crazy. If I hatch and I don't really like the hatching, I just erase it back a little bit. It doesn't make it disappear, but it makes it a bit less visible. So you don't really notice it's there. And this is the final stage of whatever I do. It's just hatching. So right now, I decided to do my pink. Everything for me is just about layers and layers of colour. So when I'm looking, I'm just looking for where's this colour? Where am I going to add it? Where do I want to add it? And that's how I'm building up my portrait, just with layers. Not the end of the world if I don't get this right first time, because I can add, obviously. It's not like adding paint. I can just pick up a pencil and add a few more hatches. I don't know if you noticed, if you were in the class watching this, I don't know if you noticed that until the end I had forgotten the ear. And right at the end I sneakily painted the ear because I realised I hadn't painted it. Didn't say that out loud, but I had forgotten it. I think I painted it once right at the beginning and then completely forgot about it. So sneakily painted it again right at the end. What am I going to do now? Interestingly, her eyes look really sparkly now, and I didn't use any sparkle. That was just the colours I used. I might put the yellow on because she definitely needs yellow. She needs some yellow here. I don't think this yellow is dark enough. I got my colours out before class, thinking those were the colours I'd use, but I don't think I got a darker yellow, so I'm just getting a darker one. Her eyes are too big now. They look really weird. I'm looking at that, but they will. I haven't got any eyebrows yet. So once I add eyebrows, this eye is much too big. Obviously, they're both too big, but my eyes are always larger than life. When I draw, they're almost always bigger than they actually are. That's just something I do. I tried to correct it at one point. I discovered that I was always drawing eyes bigger than they should be, and I found it really hard to correct. And eventually I decided that it was just part of my style, and I wasn't going to try and correct it anymore because I found it very hard to do. I decided it was all part of my style. So if there's something you find you always draw wrong, just decide it's part of your style. And then you don't have to worry about correcting it, unless you're going to be a realistic artist, which I'm not. I did have one guy when I'd been drawing for about 3 years. Some guy contacted me on, I don't know, Instagram. I don't know where, probably Instagram, with pointers. He said, your drawings are very good, but you really need to do this to make it more realistic. So I sent him a message back saying, thank you very much, but I'm not planning on being a realistic artist. I thought it was very cheeky of him to assume that I really wanted to the advice of some guy who I'd never met, had no idea who he was, that I really wanted his tips on how to be more realistic in my art. Now, what to do to get rid of the blue? I wonder if I want to make those bits. So I can't get rid of it, but it's how to distract the eye from it, so you're not looking at it thinking, oh, that's really blue. I've totally lost the likeness now. I think I had it earlier. I think in my drawing I had it, but I've lost it as I've been painting. But, yeah. No buts. I had it at one point, definitely, and I have lost it at some point. But that's the nature of portrait drawing. Okay, I need to draw in her eyebrows because her eyes are bugging me now. So this is a warm grey, which I think is the colour. See, I'm going to take out that really big eye that is just too big and looking very strange. So we can take a lot of that out by simply doing this. And hopefully do the same over here. Looks a bit less strange. Her face shape is very wrong though, as I look at that. The face shape should be much squarer. It's not square enough. That's what's wrong with it. It needs to be much squarer. I mean, I could go on to put it on my iPad and manipulate it and make her very square, the way it should be. Oh, excuse me. But would I want to do that? I mean, that's the question we get to here. People always look weird until you give them eyebrows as well, which I tend to leave towards the end. So if you do that, you will notice that people look very odd until you give them eyebrows. And suddenly when you draw the eyebrows in, you're like, oh, that's what was wrong. Suddenly they get eyebrows and they look like people again. See, she looks much more human just from having eyelashes and eyebrows. She's a human being again. And then I feel like I'm beginning to get the likeness back. It certainly looks more like her now that she has hair. But so these are warm grey. I don't want to overdo it, so I might just leave it there. Then the only thing that's left, the thing I always do last, is indigo, and do the proper shadows. So no, that's too much. I don't like that, so I'm going to take that bit off. Okay, I think that's pretty good now. Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that. The only thing that I would add is if I can find a pen. Oh, I didn't leave one out. Oh, there's one. Hold on. There's one. A jelly roll. White jelly roll for the whites of the eyes. Jelly rolls I use because they're the best ones to take over Prismacolors. Yeah, I've just noticed that she has some freckles here which we could add in because they're quite nice. I do like doing freckles, so maybe we'll give her freckles. And they're really nice around the corners of her eye. And on her nose, I've just noticed them. So nice. Never can resist a face with freckles. But sometimes I don't notice them till right at the end. There we are. Okay, I'm happy with that now. It's not quite right in terms of, well, it's not an identical likeness, but I think I captured her, except that those white bits, I'm trying to see if the white pencil will go over them. Not really. Those blue bits rather. Never mind. They're drawing my eye. They might not be drawing yours. Oh, actually, the one on the lips has gone. Maybe I'll go a bit more. I might just drag that out. Drag that out into the lips. That one on the nose, I'm just looking, and it'd be quite nice to just get rid of those hard edges a bit with the pencil. I'm not sure I'm succeeding very well, but I might be making it worse or better. That happens sometimes. You try and make something better and you make it worse. But anyway, stop fiddling. I think I'm happy enough with that. I'm going to leave it as it is and call that done. Yeah, I'm annoyed with the blue bits. I might go on to I might upload that to my iPad and correct them a bit. I'm not sure. I'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. But I would call that done right now. I'm saying, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just looking, thinking. I think it would be nice if there were some stray bits of hair here, because she does have stray bits of hair. I could sit here and fiddle forever. I'm going to call that finished.